So literally just a couple days ago, February 19th, we lost an absolute legend in the hip hop game that was literally just one day shy of his 53rd birthday. I'm of course
Yes.
talking about Markie Dee from the Fat Boys. He was a solo artist, songwriter, producer, radio host. If I'm not mistaken, he was the first Latino rapper to make it. I mean,
Oh,
Corey,
wow.
when you first think of Markie Dee and the Fat Boys, what goes to your head?
Man, disorderlies, man. Disorderlies. Just being a young boy, and I probably should not even been looking at the movie, but it came on HBO, and I snuck downstairs, man. I even recorded on VHS tape, and I still had that tape to this day. I just don't have a VCR to play it on, but yeah, Disorderlies, man. That was one of my favorite movies coming up as a kid. Also, the Fat Boys Are Back when that came out, because just being a young kid, I couldn't listen to a lot of rap with profane, language in it. So the Fat Boys was really my avenue, you know what I'm saying, to listen to rap music. So man, definitely rest in peace to Markie Dee, Prince Markie Dee, and also Buff, man, the human beatbox, man, for sure. And shout out to Cool, man. Prayers up, bro.
Absolutely, just tragic. I don't believe we have the official ruling on what had happened to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize all the things he was involved in. I mean, he's a radio host. He produced hits for Craig Mack, Mary J. Blige, Mariah
Yeah.
Carey. I mean, that's what a resume.
Yeah, yeah, he was, man. And I think the kids nowadays not even familiar with the Fat Boys, obviously because they weren't born during that time. But man, I just hope, man, and it's kind of sad, man. It takes someone to pass for them to really get their flowers, as we say. But man, I just hope the Fat Boys really get that recognition that they deserve, because they were definitely a pillar in the hip hop game in the '80s. Definitely.
Absolutely. And we could talk about a ton of hits that they'd be involved in.
Wipeout. Oh man.
Absolutely. So when we talk about Wipeout, you brought it up yourself. I mean, you talk about a lot of crossover hits, or maybe the first
Yeah.
one that comes to mind in the 80s is Run DMC and Aerosmith with Walk This Way, rightfully
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, he
But
busted
what
through.
about Wipeout, Fat Boys
Yeah,
and Beach Boys?
yeah,
How huge
yeah.
was that?
Both of them. Yeah, man. That wipeout was big, man. Shout out to the Beach Boys. Man, that was one of them hits in the '80s, man. You had Wild Wild West. You had I'm Bad by LL Cool J. Man, Wipeout was right up there with him. And I agree that was probably one of the first crossover, songs from rap, and you know what I'm saying, and what they do, rap and just R&B or rap and rock and roll. That was the first time, man, that ever happened. Or rap and pop. That to man, to intertwine the two, man, that was just dope, man. Like you said, Ron DMC did it with Walk This Way, and then the Fat Boys came out. Was Ron DMC first?
I do believe Run DMC was first, as Wipeout was 1987. I'm
Okay,
going off
that
the
was
top of my head. I
87.
believe Walk
Okay,
This Way was a little before it, though. Yeah,
like 85, 86, somewhere in there.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
Oh, okay, man. They were both dope, man. Yeah, that was a good look for hip hop as a whole.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I'm devastated, of course, that we lost yet another legend. And
Yeah.
literally, it was just last month, Karan Goodman reached out to me. And he always likes to build things up when he reaches out to me. He says,
Shout out to
"Yo,
Q
Nick,"
Ball.
shout out to Cue Ball, definitely.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, Nick, I've got a link for an interview for you, and this guy is beyond a legend." So I'm like, "Okay, continue." And he keeps building it up. And he's like, "Hey, I've got Markie Dee that will go on your show." Whatever. I was so excited for it. He was a very busy man. He had many things going on. We were trying to possibly link maybe next month or the following. It's tragic we lost him, and I'm devastated. But I'm also devastated I didn't get that opportunity to talk to him. It would have been so nice.
That would have been a dope interview, man. Just yourself coming up in the '80s and '90s like myself, and man, you just do dope interviews, man. You ask the right questions, and like I said in my previous interview, to reintroduce people to a new audience, man. That's just awesome, man. Shout out to Off the Radar for sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, Prince Markie Dee gone way too
Prince
soon.
Markie Dee, rest in peace and happy birthday, brother, man. I know you celebrating in heaven, man. Fat Boys for life.